Welcome to the off season of the Minnesota State Mavericks Dynasty, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go over the Season 3 breakdown and year in review. This year was by far our most successful season at 12-2, and we finished number 14 in the countries. And for a MAC team, you know, that's really good. If we were in like a better conference with that record, then maybe we'd be top 5, maybe top 10, top 15. Well, we are top 15 now, but maybe top 10. But regardless, we're going to go over who won the national championship this year. And it looks like Ohio State was the winner of the national championship game by the final score of 31-24. So this is your final rankings as far as who's in the top 25. Alabama, Stanford, Oklahoma, Washington, Georgia, A&M, Notre Dame, Clemson, UCF. And even UCF climbed the rankings, even though they were... they must have lost to Alabama in the bowl game, but they still climbed the rankings. Pittsburgh, California, Michigan, Minnesota State, Florida, Nebraska, LSU, West Virginia, TCU, and Mississippi State. And the rest are North Carolina, Baylor, Utah State, Western Kentucky, and NC State. Other receiving votes go to Kansas State, Virginia Tech, Kentucky, Tulane, Michigan State. That was just the BCS. That was just the coaches poll. The media poll has Ohio State also in there. It has us at number 16 in the media poll, but that doesn't really matter, I suppose. But Ohio State is the champion in season 3. I think Washington won it last year, and they almost won it again. But we did go over last time. We did go over the All-Americans, but this time we're going to go through the season stats. Brett Brown. 287 completions for 420 yards, 32 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Had a spectacular season. Averaged 250 yards per game on 68%. Really good year for him. Took 27 sacks still. We need to improve on that still, but still a really good year. David Hampton had 855 yards, and I think he only played like only like 8 games this year, or 9 or 10 games this year. So he had a bit of an asterisk. He could have got 1,000 yards if he would have got more touches. But Brett Brown and Jamal Mordcourt did do good in taking their place. Brett Brown, 13 touchdowns on the ground, which led the team. But David Hampton also had 8 on the ground as well. Still had a really solid year. Mordcourt had 3. Scooter had 6. And Utley and Dickerson each had a touchdown on the ground each as well. So not a bad year on the ground this year. Receiving, this was where our strengths were. Tyler Henry, especially. 1,300 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns. I don't know if that'll be broken, but still a really good showing this year by Tyler Henry. Jacob Jackson, 40 catches for 633 and 4 touchdowns. Arnold Thompson had 488 receiving yards. Gary Burnett had 416 receiving yards. David Hampton had 372. Scott Holloway 158. Scooter had 70. Mardcourt had 51. He wasn't really good out of the backfield, but you know it happens. Dylan had 2 catches, 26 yards, and then all the other ones here: 1 catch is 0 yards, 1 catch 6 yards, 1 catch 13 yards. We threw to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different receivers this year, which is a really outstanding statistic if you ask me. A lot of sacks given up, especially by Weatherford here. He gave up 8 total sacks on the year. Defensively, we had a lot of improvements to do, but nonetheless, Larry Gore and Andrew Gilbert led the team in tackles. Tackles for loss was led by Larry Gore and Jeff Cox, and Matt Urban had also double-digit takedowns in the backfield. Quarterback sacks, Jeff Cox had 15, Matt Urban had 9, Harris 7. Lockwood had 3, Larry Gore had 3, Williams and Anderson had 2, and Andrew Gilbert had 1 sack. Interceptions, that belongs to Larry Gore and Andrew Gilbert. Tavon had 3. Both Andersons had 2. Waters, Lockwood, Hayden, and Price each had 1. Kicking, that one statistic, I think we missed quite a few more kicks than we usually did this year. We went 14 for 17 on field goals, which isn't bad still, but we could improve on that for next year. I think last year we went 10 of 11 or something, or like we only missed 1 field goal last year with Marcus Schroeder. Punting, still a pretty good average. Not going to complain. Returning, we did have one kickoff return for a touchdown and no punt returns for touchdowns. So we had a pretty good year as far as statistical standpoint. We were pretty good. Brett Brown finished 4th in the NCAA in passing yards. Hampton was 122nd, but again, I kind of give that an asterisk because he did miss quite a few games. Tackle leaders, Gilbert, Price, and Gore, each top 3 in tackles. Receiving yards, Tyler Henry was 4th on that list. Sack leader was Jeff Cox at 15 sacks. Interception leaders, Larry Gore was 26th. But that's like it's such a small statistic that, you know, he could be like, you know, tied for 10th for all we know. And then kicking, obviously not a great statistic, but I think that was 92nd. So we broke some school records this year, which is really good, honestly. Passing touchdowns for a career, Brett Brown's going to break that. I feel like Brett Brown's going to break that eventually too, and this one, and possibly this one too. Maybe. It's really hard to get 481 passing yards in a game. But receiving, Tyler Henry broke a couple of school records. Receptions in a career, that one's going to be really hard to break too, 211. If Tyler Henry was still around for at least one more season, he might break that. But not anymore, since he only got 1 year under his belt on defensive end. Interceptions for a career, that still has yet to be, you know, broken. Jeff Cox, 15 sacks in a season, obviously a record. No rushing records were broken yet, but still, you know, really good showing. Individual game, Jamal Branch, alright, so that's all of our school records that we broke this year, I guess. Records. So let's get on with the offseason. Let's do it. Let's get ready for season 4. And it's going to be interesting to see how much this team is going to improve for next season. Or unimprove, I should say, because I don't think we got any room to recruit this time around, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Players leaving. Let's take a look at that. Warren Price, Alex Weatherford, Scott Holloway, David Hampton, Larry Gore, Fabian Mivril. He didn't really get much playing time, did he? Derek Everson, Jamal Marcourt, Tyler Henry, Rusty Norman, Samuel Concepcion, Matt Irvin, Warren Smith, all gone to graduation. None of them are draft picks yet. But, you know, we might actually get a couple every now and then. I think Brett Brown might be that first player to actually do that said thing. Not sure. But transfer requests, did we get any? No, that's fine. Draft results, obviously no players drafted, so we're not going to worry about it. On to the next one. Alright, so I don't know if we're going to get any. I don't know if we're going to get this guy, but oh man, I'm just going to put all my stock into Matt Jackson. Just going to do it, because I don't have any recruits left. And I don't have any scholarships left, I should say. And I really would like to see what happens if this guy comes to MSU. Really don't have anywhere else to put points though. Just gonna put all my stock into it. Why not? Committed to Kansas. Okay, so we didn't get anybody. Obviously, we're not going to worry about that either. So, on to position changes. Alright. So, I did make a couple of position changes. Brett Brown's still the starting quarterback, but we got nobody else to back him up except for maybe Aiden Cooper. But he has some speed on him, so we'll make it work if that happens. He's a redshirt freshman, so we'll make it work. Wozliak and Wozliak and Dickerson, it might be splitting time. There's a lot of running backs here. Utley is probably going to be playing. Actually, we might need to use a backup quarterback. Utley probably serves better at quarterback as a read option guy. And then we could put Dickerson and Wozliak at splitting time at running back. Receiver core. I feel like Jacob Jackson has better upside. Arnold Thompson's pretty good too. Got a lot of upperclassmen and lowerclassmen too in this receiving core. So I feel comfortable with this, at least for this year. Henry Dillon, Joe Cooper. Tight ends is going to be a little bit thin this year. It's going to be a lot thin. I don't know. This team gives me skepticism on many, many levels. We're going to get some improvements here. We haven't even done training yet, but I still feel like this is a, you know, with this group here, we're going to improve in some areas, but we're still going to be weak in a lot of areas too. So let's see what happens at least. Training results, the ones we've all been waiting for. All right. Quarterbacks. Brett Brown's an 80 in just his junior season. That's crazy. And he could improve more on that later on. Paul Utley, 69 overall. Aiden Cooper, 67 overall. Wozliak's a 73, so he's probably going to be the starting running back this year. Carroll Dickerson's going to be splitting time with them. And then we have Manny Freeman at the third string. Tyrell Smith at a 63. So lot of power at the running back position this year. Scooter is up to a 64 or 62 overall. Davis is at a 68. Jackson and Burnett and Thompson and Carlton are all above 70, which is good. Jackson doesn't have a whole lot of speed on him, but he's a possession guy, so we kind of need a receiver like that. Henry Dillon up to a 67. Probably the best thing we've got, but he's not very good at catching the ball. Oh, 70 catching's not terrible. It could definitely be worked on. Isaac Booth, probably our best offensive lineman. Pearson's at a 72. Our starting centers are going to be at 67, and our right guard's going to be awful this year. Our right side of the line is going to be bad. Jeff Cox, 77 overall. DeMonde Harris, 74. Riley and Williams at 75 and 74 apiece. Paul Anderson at a 79. Devon Hicks at a 68, which is better than Larry Gore last year. Jackson Lockwood at a 70. And then we have our corners, which is probably our biggest problem. Tavon Carlson, 71. Blaine Waters, 69. Vincent Bolden, 69. Todd Jones, a 59. And Hayes at a 55. And a Robert Vincent at a 40. That's really not that good at all. He didn't even improve at all. He didn't even go up in overall. He's just that bad. Strong safety, we have Marcus Anderson at 76. Lewis at 73. Ross at 71. And we have Hayden and Gilbert at 77 and 76. So they may split time at corner this year. Schroeder at a 91 overall kicking. What's his kick power up to this year? Has to be up in like the 90 or 80s or 90, 92 kick power, 93 accuracy. 74 overall Ryan Lopez. Overall, we have our first 90 overall player. We have our first couple of 80, or we have more than a couple of 80s this year. Anderson's gonna be good for this final year too. Same with Jeff Cox, and a lot of 75, a lot of 70 plus overall players this year. I feel comfortable leading with this squad, leading the way this year. So let's go to cut some players. David Boyd probably won't get playing time. He's not my type of style of running back regardless. Yeah, he's got to go. I got to keep that receiving core. Marcus Hayes has got to go. Brad Fletcher's got to go. John Rogers. He's got to go. Well, Blair Cody's going to be the starter in a couple years, so he'll be a redshirt. He'll be a junior redshirt by the time he'd be able to start. So, with these two under redshirt, these two will be under redshirt, so they'll get time to develop. Because we're going to lose 3 wide receivers this year. I want to keep this core together. At least for a season. I'm going to have to heavily recruit wide receivers this year. Redshirt Patrick Wallace and see what happens. Okay. That makes it a little easier. Custom conferences. Man, I always hate cutting players. Always hate cutting players. It's like the worst part about it. Okay, our rule is that the we got to go for 1-star players and players that are JUCOs. So we got to go 53, 50. I would like to have at least some standard when trying to get these guys too. I don't want to go after like 40 overall players. So I'd like to have at least some standard. So Minnesota's kind of thin in that department this year. Let's see about Michigan. 55 overall middle linebacker, 56 guard, 55 corner, 53. 66, but he's a JUCO. 54, 55. Both outside linebackers as well. 50 corner or 50 wide receiver, I don't need quarterbacks. We'll have 5 receivers on the roster next year. We would need some middle linebackers, some safeties, and yeah, that's about it. So let's go by let's go to all states, and let's go strong safety. 56 strong safety, that's pretty good. 55 strong safety. 62, but he's a JUCO. 67 JUCO. 48. That's not good. $64 JUCO. 63 JUCO. Free safety. 56. That's pretty good. 51. 59 JUCO. That's terrible. Middle linebacker. Let's see what they got over here. 54. That's not bad. 55. 55 again. 62 JUCO. 63 JUCO. 52. And the thing about it is, too, you just don't know if any of these guys are just going to turn out to be gems. Outside linebacker. We could go for a couple of running backs, I guess, this time around, too. Let's look in some other states like Wisconsin. 3-star running back. Let's look for other players. 67 punter. We don't need a punter, guys. Not yet. Let's look in the state of South Dakota. Middle linebacker, but he's a JUCO. Not something I really want. JUCOs are like the last things that I really need. North Dakota. 51 strong safety. Or yeah, that's fine. I don't see any problem with that. Nebraska has no 1-star player. That's crazy. Let's go to Kansas. 1-star fullback. Iowa has a tight end, a fullback, a guard, these are 2-star players. Indiana has a D end. I could definitely use that. A 59 or 49 JUCO. What the? You're terrible. Illinois has wide receivers up the wazoo. Oh, he's a JUCO. That's depressing. Okay. Defensive tackle. We need some of those too. Oh wait, that's a 2-star. Nope, can't go after these guys. That's right. Whoopsies. Let's look in Canada. They don't got anything they can go after. Wyoming has a running back, but it's a JUCO. Wisconsin I've already looked at. Let's look at West Virginia. They have a center. They have a DN that's a JUCO and a corner. And an outside linebacker that's also a terrible JUCO. Washington has a couple of guards that I can look at here. Ooh, I could definitely look at those guards. Middle linebacker, 50 overall. Virginia. Couple of guards, D tackle. I could go after a D tackle actually. And a couple of offensive tackles as well. Vermont. Let's look at the team needs here. We don't need quarterbacks though. We're good on that. We maybe have to go after we would have 4 quarterbacks on the roster next year. We're still good on that. We're young in the running back department. We're solid for a couple of seasons. Fullbacks were solid for a couple of seasons. Wide receivers were good. Tight ends were good. We got a bunch of underclassmen. Offensive tackles, we need a couple of more. They're young, but we could use a couple. Same with guards. Do we have any centers? We're going after 1 center. That's fine though. DNs. We're going after 1, and we got a couple on the wings. So DNs were fine. Or we could go after 1 more, actually. D tackle. We're going after a couple because we have a senior and a junior. Outside linebacker, we have a senior. But we're going after 3, so that's fine. Middle linebacker, we're going after 4. We have a senior and 2 freshmen that I'm probably going to end up redshirting, I think, if they're eligible for it. 7 corners. We have 2 safeties that are going to be seniors. We have no incoming freshmen. We need at least 1. We're going after 4. So we could go after a couple DNs if they're available. We could look at the state of Utah and see if they have any. Texas has punters and kickers up the behind. I don't need any JUCOs. Let's look at Tennessee. Let's look at by position here. D end. JUCOs. Okay, we can go after Roger Ricks, Matt Johnson, and I think we're going to be safe by going after a running back. Or a quarterback, actually. Justin Warren. We're going to go after him, too. And for 50 points, let's scout them. Scout them all. 60 over. Okay, that's what I'm hoping. This is what I'm hoping for. Is just to find some gems, and we are finding them already. Oh, we are getting some good ones. Oh, we're getting good ones here. This one's a little bit to be desired, but that's okay. That one's good. Oh, that one's good too. Ooh, Marvin Moore's nice. Okay, Joe James, I see you, dog. Derek Richardson's pretty good too. Ooh, Derek Fontenot. Ooh. Big increase. Ronald Brown looking good. Joe Williams isn't looking so hot. Andy Slater. 11 improvement point. Wow, dude. That's a steal. Kevin Cobbs. Andy Slater looks like the biggest, like, he looks good so far. He looks really good. I'm hoping I can get that guy. Okay. So yeah, that's all we can do for this week. But man, we got a pretty strong class going on here, man. We do. We got a really strong class. We're going to redshirt some players now. I know which ones I'm going to redshirt and which ones I'm not. We got 3 quarterbacks, or 2 quarterbacks here that I'm going to redshirt in Tony Freeman and Blair Cody. Brett Brown's going to be starting quarterback once again. I don't have any running backs that I can redshirt. Or I could redshirt fullbacks, but I'm not going to because they are too valuable. I feel... Oh, wait. I feel like I should redshirt Alex Sanders because he could turn into something special too. Tight ends, we don't have anybody eligible for redshirt. Isaac Booth's too valuable. Ross France, we can redshirt. I want to redshirt both of these guys, but I got to redshirt only one of them, I think. I'm going to redshirt Stokes. Jackson's getting redshirted. Wallace is getting redshirted. Landry's getting redshirted. All these guys are getting red shirts. Paul Anderson's too valuable. Redshirt both middle linebackers. Want to redshirt all these guys actually, because then I could use all these guys here that have that experience to put them in spots where they're needed. So I don't want to do it, but I'm going to anyway. So nothing against, like, I want the experience in those positions. So I want them to get a year under their belts to try and get everything going. Brett Brown's obviously the starting quarterback. That's obvious. Jackson Waslick, he's going to be our starting running back. Carol Dickerson's also going to be splitting time, and Manny Freeman. And any other... Tyrell Smith's going to get the 4th string. I got to have Scooter in there. Scooter Patuter, baby. He's already a junior, which is kind of hard to believe, man. Jaden Griffin. Henry Dillon starting tight end. Isaac Booth. Troy Pearson at left guard. But he's going to be playing left. He's going to be doing just all right there. Marcus Stevens, true freshman. Oh, wait. Jackson. Okay, I need the best guys, the best available guys to go out there and just do our thing. Okay. Demonde Harris at right end. Defensive tackle's looking solid. Left end's looking good. Right end's looking good. D tackle's looking good. Left outside linebacker's looking solid. Barclay's going to be the backup here. You know, it's kind of tragic. It's kind of tragic that, you know, some of our wide receivers make better corners simply because of their catching abilities, but they can't tackle worth a damn either. But that's fine either. That's fine too, I guess. I'm going to have to live with it. Blaine Waters got put 4th on the depth chart. Jesus. Blaine Waters isn't returning kicks either. I don't trust him. Tavon Carlson is. So our schedule this year is number 9 Michigan. That's going to be tough. Michigan's good. Minnesota. And then we have 2 open games like this, 2 in 3 weeks. At home or on the road against Pittsburgh. Then we have our schedule in conference, and we have UMass, Buffalo, Central, Ball State, Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Toledo, and then our last game of the season is against UCF. We rolled those 3 numbers there, 14, 21, and 9. So that is our schedule to start season 4 of Minnesota State. 3 different unique teams. I feel comfortable with that, actually. So let's start season 4. Let's take a look at every individual ranking how much we improved from last year to this year, and what we can expect going into the season. All right, so we're here in week 1. Let's take a look here at preseason polls. I don't think we're ranked. There's no way we're ranked. 1 through 10 is Ohio State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Stanford, A&M, and Notre Dame, Florida, LSU, or Michigan, LSU. 11 through 20 is Clemson, Washington, Nebraska, Pitt, TCU, NC State, West Virginia, North Carolina, Mississippi State, and Virginia Tech. 21 through 25 is UCF, California, Baylor, Penn State, and Auburn. And where we rank, the other notables are Kansas State, Miami, Michigan State, Tennessee, Northwestern. Where we rank in here, Iowa's 33rd. Wisconsin is 37th. Florida State is 42nd. Iowa State is 45th. Although their offense looks really dynamic this year, they could possibly sneak up on you. Minnesota's 47th. We are ranked in the top 50. We are 70 overall offense, 71 defense, which is a huge improvement from seasons past. Obviously, this is our first time reaching as a team 70 overall in we're in our 4th season now, which is really good. So no complaints from me. All of our opponents outside of the conference are in the top 50. Teams like Ohio and Ball State are in the 70s range. Bowling Green and Toledo, four MAC teams right here are 71 through 74. Kent State at 78. Central Michigan at 81. Texas State, who we beat in the bowl game last year, dropped all the way to 83rd. Washington State at a 85, which is really weird. Their defense is really good. Buffalo is at 89. Indiana is at a 93. Interesting. Northern Illinois 98. Let's see. Western Michigan at a 102. Doesn't really surprise me with how bad their offensive schemes are. Kansas at 113. Akron at a 116. UMass at 118. UAB at 120. Miami of Ohio is the worst team in the MAC at 124. UNC Charlotte at 126. They're a 79 overall team, though. I don't know why they're ranked so low. But I'm not the one who makes the rules, so I don't really get a say in all that. Conference outlook. What's that looking like here? I think we're projected to win the conference again. And we are. That's not a surprise. We're listed as the worst team in the MAC by overall, but with schemes and everything, we kind of just take the cake in it all. Heisman watched. I don't think we got any Heisman candidates. Wait a minute. What? Brett Brown. Heisman candidate. Dark horse. You know, he doesn't have Tyler Henry this year, you know. That's a weapon lost. But you know, I gotta take it. I gotta take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I would love to see Brett Brown win a Heisman. Who wouldn't? Brett Brown for Heisman. Let's go, man. I'm down for it. We just gotta make it. We gotta make the team work, make the dream work, man. We gotta make it happen. Last year he played out of his mind. 32 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He played out of his mind. And he improved in every aspect except for yards per game, but that's neither here nor there. You're kind of like splitting hairs with the difference that he has. Okay, he's a Heisman candidate. Let's see what happens. He's above running back Michael Carter, Zamir White, and Joshua Samuel for the Heisman. This is interesting. Interesting, man. Preseason All-Americans. Do we have any? Brett Brown's first team All-NCAA to start the season. That is incredible. Jeff Cox as left end. Andrew Gilbert. Not a surprise. Any second teamers? Oh, we got Carlson and Waters. Ugh. Waters. He's bad. He's so bad. All MAC. Any preseason All MAC players? Jeff Cox and Brett Brown. Carlson and Waters. Even though Waters isn't even starting, man. Just saying. Gilbert, Schroeder, and Hayden, second team MAC. Anderson, second team MAC. Harris, second team MAC. This is interesting. Honestly, I can't believe what I'm seeing. No, Heisman dark horse is Brett Brown. No one expected him to be there. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's going to make noise this year. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you guys for tuning into the season 3 of the offseason. We're going to be starting season 4 here against Michigan. This is going to get nuts, like super fast. This year's probably, I'm hoping we can do some damage this year against some good quality football teams. Michigan's a really good team, so we're going to see what we can do against those guys. And hopefully come out with a win in the next video. Until then, drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Until then, my name's Sin with Vengeance. Peace out.